Some places feel completely ordinary at first, the kind you walk past every day without giving them a second thought. Yet over time, they begin to change in ways that are almost impossible to notice until the pattern is already set. These locations do not suddenly become dangerous overnight. Instead, they slowly transform as small problems are ignored. Boundaries weaken and escalation becomes part of the environment itself. It usually starts with behavior that feels minor and easy to dismiss. Loud arguments that end without consequences, broken lights that are never repaired, graffiti that reappears faster than it is cleaned, petty theft that is brushed off as bad luck. People notice these things, but they rarely respond directly. Instead, they adapt. They avoid eye contact, change routes, leave earlier, or come home later, quietly adjusting their lives to fit the discomfort rather than confronting it. That adjustment sends a message, even if no one says it out loud. It tells everyone that this space is loosely monitored, that rules are flexible here, and that accountability may not arrive. For someone testing limits, this matters more than intention. Once small violations go unchallenged, larger ones feel possible. Escalation does not begin with violence. It begins with permission created by silence. Isolation plays a critical role, even in crowded cities. Poorly lit streets, empty parking garages, abandoned buildings, underpasses, and neglected stairwells create spaces where visibility drops and responsibility fades. These are areas people move through quickly rather than inhabit, which means no one truly claims them. When a place feels unclaimed, behavior inside it changes, and risk increases naturally. Routine adds another layer of pressure. Certain locations attract the same people at the same times every day, often individuals dealing with stress, addiction, exhaustion, or financial strain. Late-night transit hubs, rundown motels, neglected housing complexes, and poorly managed nightlife areas become gathering points where tension accumulates slowly. Conflicts repeat, faces become familiar, grudges form, and resentment builds until one moment pushes everything beyond control. History then locks the pattern in place. Once a location gains a reputation, even an informal one, it begins to shape behavior automatically. Law-abiding people avoid it whenever possible, reducing natural surveillance and social presence. Those willing to commit crimes feel more comfortable there, believing the environment already protects them through anonymity and chaos. The reputation becomes self-fulfilling, reinforcing the very behavior people fear. Law enforcement presence often reacts rather than prevents. Patrols increase after serious incidents, then fade once attention shifts elsewhere. Without consistent intervention, the underlying conditions remain unchanged. Each incident that passes without long-term response teaches people exactly how far they can go before consequences appear. And that knowledge spreads quietly. Escalation rarely happens in one dramatic leap. A place known for shouting and fights may later see physical assaults. An area associated with theft may progress to armed robbery. Each incident subtly redefines what is considered normal, pushing the boundary a little further each time. When early warning signs are ignored, escalation feels less shocking and more expected. The physical design of these locations often makes matters worse. Blind corners, narrow alleys, broken cameras, poor lighting, and confusing layouts create natural advantages for crime. Over time, offenders learn the environment better than anyone else, knowing where they can hide, escape, or avoid attention. Everyone else feels increasingly uneasy. Even during daylight hours, fear itself becomes part of the environment. Residents stop reporting incidents because they believe nothing will change. Witnesses avoid involvement to protect themselves. Businesses close earlier or shut down entirely, leaving streets emptier and darker. Each reaction is understandable, yet together they remove the social presence that discourages escalation in the first place. Psychological pressure grows alongside physical decline. When people feel abandoned by systems meant to protect them, they adapt in risky ways. Some carry weapons for self-defense, increasing the chance that conflicts turn deadly. Others seek protection through groups or gangs, intensifying territorial behavior. The location becomes a pressure cooker where fear, anger, and desperation exist side by side. What makes these places especially unsettling is how often meaningful intervention comes only after something extreme happens. A murder, a mass injury, or a crime that dominates headlines suddenly forces attention onto a location that had been escalating quietly for years. By then, trust is broken, fear is normalized, and restoring safety becomes far harder than preventing the decline ever would have been. These locations prove that crime is rarely random. It grows where neglect persists, where early warnings are dismissed, and where environments quietly allow harmful behavior to take root. Dangerous places are not created overnight, and they do not remain dangerous by accident. They evolve through repeated inaction and gradual acceptance. Understanding this pattern is not about living in fear, but about awareness. When small problems are addressed early, escalation can be interrupted. When they are ignored, locations develop reputations that are difficult to erase. And once crime feels expected instead of shocking, escalation becomes part of the space itself. These places remind us that surroundings shape behavior more than we like to admit. Design, history, routine, and response all influence what happens next. If this made you rethink how certain locations quietly turn dangerous over time, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next deep dive into real-world crime patterns that often go unnoticed.